What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today's kind of a part two. If you remember my recent jerkbait video where I caught, I don't know, 875 dinks within, 4 hours. This is a part two. This happened later that day. Brando and I moved to a different spot, was still throwing the jerkbait, caught a number of different fish over there. I don't know, probably 20 or so once we moved spots. But after that, I had 45 minutes left to fish, and I said, you know what? It is time for me to grab a large glide bait to see if I can catch a fish. And that's kind of where we pick up here. So enough yapping, let's get to the catch. 45 minutes left. All right, y'all, here's the deal. 45 minutes left on my card. My battery just died. I caught that fish. That was like dink number 699, 723, I don't know. I'm gonna throw the glide bait. That's the custom painted Debo. We know they're here eating. So if I can't catch a bass on the glide bait when we know there's a bunch of fish here eating, I'm gonna give all my glide baits away. I'm done. Not even gonna mess with it. Yeah. No, not at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No way. No freaking way. Oh, I caught one on a glide bait. I caught one on a freaking glide bait. Oh my God, and Brando almost called it. I literally about fell out. Oh my gosh, y'all. So we knew there were fish here feeding. I decided to pick up the glide bait and say, hey, let's see if I can get a little bit bigger one. Look at how stocky that fish is. Part two, Debo catches actual fish on a glide bait. You know what makes it even cooler is that my very first glide bait fish was on my Debo custom painted glide. I mean, that's freaking, oh my gosh, that makes me feel so dang good. So there it is. Look at that, huh? Debo glide, chunky fish. Let's see how much that dude goes. 2.8. 2.8. He was smaller than the jerkbait fish I caught, but that's still a good fish. 2.5 pounder for my very first swimbait fish. Chunky, short little dude. 16.5 inches. All right, let's let him go. He's been out long enough. First swimbait fish for Debo off. Okay, so he was, what did I say, 16.5? All right, well, Brando's putting a glide bait on too. There it is, the Debo Custom. I cannot believe, I think this is a 7-inch. So there you have it, fishing friends, my very first catch on a glide bait. I know I sounded excited and you're like, dude, it was a 2.5 pound fish. That's the first time I've caught a fish on a 6, 7, any sort of inch glide bait. This happens to be the exact bait that I caught the fish on. This is a 7-inch glide bait. This is one of my own custom painted glides. For those of you that don't know, I have my own website. I've opened up my own site where I paint lures and sell my own custom lures. So if you actually want to pick one of these up, I've got some other ones in similar colors. I'm probably going to be putting some of these on this exact colorway because obviously it's a proven fish catcher. But 45 minutes left, started throwing this, and it was so awesome to catch my first glide bait fish on a lure that I painted, my own hand-painted lure. Turned out awesome. It was really just a simple, kind of shad pattern, darker top, some scales. Does have the custom Debo eyes that I really liked, but that was it, that glide right there. And you'll notice as I was working that bait, I was kind of varying it up. I am not a swim bait expert. Obviously, that's my first glide bait fish, but I was mixing it up. I was kind of doing the 180-degree turn to make it go boop, 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 boop. And then I would just kind of try a slow roll. And you can see there in the tip of the rod as I'm working at what that was doing. I kind of went to a slow roll and then pop, pop, and then pause it. And on that pause, just like the whole day on the jerkbait, you'll see my line go boom, where that fish hit it on the pause. So I really need to put in more time. I've been at a couple times since then, but fishing has been really crummy. It got super cold here. I was just super excited and happy to finally catch a fish on a glide bait, and having it be my own custom just made it all that more sweet of an experience. Now, as far as the combo, because I know everybody wants to ask, I was using the Lew's Super Duty. These are some new rods, some larger, heavier rods that they got in this year. I picked up one because I like the specs on this. Now this is actually for, I know it's gonna be upside down, but this is really hard to show in here. This is actually for calico bass. You can see this is a 7'11" rod, medium heavy, moderate fast, rated for lures 1/2 to 1/2 ounce. Definitely feels heavier than that. It actually feels really similar to another rod I'm gonna show, which is what, you know, when I was reading on the forums and asking a bunch of other people that throw swim baits, they were saying that's one of the best beginner swim bait rods to pick up if you're just starting out, you know, instead of going and spending $500 on some crazy rod. But this one I really like. It's got a really good bend in it. You know, I want something that's strong enough to set those hooks, but with it being treble hooks, I still want it to have some bend to actually keep those fish pinned. But it is that rod. The reel is the Komodo SS. Y'all have seen that a lot. This is only the 200 size. I didn't go super big. I'm only throwing up to like 3 ounce swim baits is kind of my normal 3.5 ounce. I haven't thrown really any bigger than that unless it's on my musky setup. That's a whole different story. So this has done absolutely fine for that. I put a 20-pound P-Line CXX on here. Super strong. It is a little kind of stiff and wiry, but for the swim baits, it works well because they're so heavy. You know, you're reeling that in and you're pretty much taking out that, you know, coiliness in it anyway. It doesn't matter, but 20-pound that, and that's it. I mean, a pretty simple combo. You can see I can whip this thing quite a ways on that big rod. Now, kind of the honorable mention here, I have caught fish on this, quite a few fish. Nothing on a swim bait, funny enough. I've actually used this for my 130 size ploppers. But this is the Dobbins Fury swim bait rod, the 806. It's their swim bait. Rated 2 to 8 ounces. It's a heavy power, fast action. It says swim baits and umbrella rigs. I've liked this a lot too. Like I said, I've thrown larger ploppers on it. I don't think I've caught anything else on it. That's been the only thing. I did try an umbrella rig, but it's not really my deal. I was out testing another blank to make sure the swim's good and everything. Kind of a dirty gizzard shad look. I was testing it at one of my local lakes and it has an awesome action. Paintbrush tail. I'm actually going to put this exact lure and a few others up for sale on my website, but I'm going to be painting some more of those. I like the way that that glide bait goes. And then on this one, I have a Lew's Super Duty 300. That has worked well for me. That 300 size means it's a bigger reel, bigger spool, more line capacity. I think this is like 80-pound braid I put on here. For some swim baits and stuff, and then this one I was around toothy critters, so I had a steel leader on it. Didn't catch anything, but you know, 6.5 to 1 reel. You don't want anything too super big. You know, if you're throwing like smaller bucktails on something like this for muskie or pike, those have a lot of drag. So if you go with a real high or a fast gear ratio reel, it makes those real hard to grind in with those big blades if you've ever thrown one. So that's it. That's the combo for this one. So those are the two main swim bait combos I used. Again, I am not a swim bait expert, but getting into it, you know, you really have to dedicate time. I only had 45 minutes at the end of the day. I could have thrown it sooner, but that jerkbait bite was so dang good I didn't want to quit. But it was like 3 casts in, and I caught that fish. I didn't have another bite on it. I threw it the rest of the, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. Even after I almost fell out of the boat, that's a whole different story. But it was fun. Super exciting to catch my first bass on a glide bait. Comment below and let me know. What do you think? Are you a fan of the glide bait fishing? Do you think it's all overrated? Should I have just kept throwing the jerkbait? You know, the jerkbait caught me, I was close to 50 fish that day. If I didn't catch 50, I don't know. And one of those was 2 pounds 9 ounces. So it was actually even bigger than the glide bait fish that I caught. Now, what would have happened if I'd been fishing this all day? Would I have caught a 3, 4, 5 pounder? I don't know. You know, that's the deal with fishing. I got on that hot jerkbait bite and I didn't want to quit. But comment below and let me know what you think. I know a lot of people say that swimbait fishing is overrated. I've said it before on my lives. It's tough for me to go out and dedicate a whole day to swimbait fishing. I don't have unlimited time to fish. You know, I've got a family, 2 daughters. So between school stuff and work stuff, if I have a free day to go out, I want to try to catch stuff so I can make a video for you all. So comment below and let me know your thoughts. And you know what? Because I'm generous, it's the Thanksgiving season. I'm gonna pick one lucky winner. You don't get this one. Sorry. This is I think this is gonna have to go on the shelf behind me as my first glide bait fish catch and lure. But I will paint up one of these for you. I will pick a winner. I will contact you. Like I said, I sell these on my website. I'll leave my website link below. But when I pick the winner, you can pick out your pattern. I'll talk to you. We'll pick one out and I will get one of these mailed over to you. So comment below any random comment. I'll just pick somebody in a couple weeks, a month. I'm a little behind on giveaways and such. I apologize, but I do get them out. So comment below. That's enough for me. Today's swim bait fish and friend, who is it? Matthew Acevedo, I sent him a swim bait. He's a big, huge swim bait nerd. He's been testing out some other blanks for me. Thank you, dude, for doing that. I appreciate you always watching the live streams, giving, you know, swim bait advice. Awesome guy. I appreciate people like that in the fishing community. And again, thank you everybody else who continues to watch, support my channel. It means a ton to me. Enough for me, though. It is late. I've got to edit and then go to bed. So thank you all so very much for watching. Till next time.